What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. If you like videos about prepping, survival, self-reliance, and other related topics, then be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on to be notified each time that I upload a new video. When it comes to preparing for an uncertain future, preppers focus on things like building a large food storage stockpile, having clean drinking water, having medical supplies, having skills and things like that. And that is all great and definitely needed and a good starting point. However, most fail to realize the importance, or at least many fail to realize the importance of having a debt-free home. You want to get out from under that mortgage if at all possible. Now, I can't give financial advice, obviously, but I'm going to talk about in this video how I actually paid off my home. I'm actually completely debt-free. I don't have any bank loans whatsoever. All I have here to pay is, the utilities, internet, and things like that. But as far as the house payment goes, truck payment, I have everything completely paid off and completely debt-free. And I managed to do this in 5 years. Actually, I've done this twice. My other place, I bought it, and it was a 5-acre property, and it had an old trailer on that property. And I had that taken all down, and I lived in a camper on that property. And that was my second travel trailer homestead, actually. I wrote a book about the first one. But I had that old trailer that was just falling in, torn down, and burnt and cleaned up. And then I had a camper moved up there. I lived in that camper for about a year. And during that time, I was saving. And I paid off the property. And then I managed to get enough money saved up to actually buy a 2-bedroom mobile home to move on that property. So I was debt-free, but I had to make a lot of sacrifices. And then I decided I wanted a bigger house, which was stupid on my part. Actually, I should have stayed where I was at and not spent more money. But at that time, the economy was going great, it seemed. Everything was going great, and like an idiot, I went in debt for a bigger house. Stupid, in my opinion. One of my biggest mistakes I've ever made. However, it was made and I had to deal with it. And I sold the other place and I paid that money on this place, but I still yet owed $60-something thousand on this house. And I had a 15-year mortgage on the property. And my house payment was $700 and something a month. $760 something, I think it was, a month, plus insurance and utilities and everything I need to live on. And I've managed to pay this off in less than 5 years. And you might ask, how could someone pay off $60,000 debt in less than 5 years? If you make sacrifices, it can be done. But you have to stop wasting money. You have to stop spending money on needless things. And most people can't do that. Most people like shiny objects. They like to go out to dinner every week. They want to be seen. They want to go to the sporting events and things like that. They want to have that new car. They don't want to save and pay every dime they can on their mortgage, and they will just pay, that minimum payment. And if you pay that minimum payment, you're going to never get it paid off, and you're going to have to pay a lot more interest. The quicker you pay your property off, the less interest you're going to have to pay. The banks don't want you to pay your property off. The banks want that monthly payment every month, because they get more interest that way, and they still own the property. You can pay for 10 years. If you lose your property, if you can't pay for it, they can come and foreclose, and you lose everything. So you need to try to pay for your property as quickly as possible. But unfortunately, a lot of people are having more trouble now making ends meet than ever before. However, hopefully, you can save and put every dime you save into your home, into paying that off. You need to have your preps, your food storage and things like that, obviously, but you also need to focus on getting out of debt, because that's extremely important. Like I said, you have to make sacrifices. You have to stop wanting. You have to stop buying on wants and just buy what you need to survive on. If you have, other things you can sell to pay on that mortgage that you don't need, that you never use, you can do that. Sell whatever you have and pay on that mortgage. If you have a job that can work overtime, do that while you still can and pay that money on your mortgage. Do everything you can to pay as much as you can as quickly as possible and pay on that principal to pay your property off to be debt-free. You may have to suffer. You may have to make sacrifices. You may have to eat, pinto beans and fried potatoes, not go out to eat. dinner every week. You may have to drive an old beat-up car. Don't go in debt for, a new vehicle. You may have to grow a lot of your own food on your property and put that money you've saved on your property. You may have to work, like I said, double time, sacrifice to pay for your property, to pay those payments off, to pay that mortgage off, because you definitely want to try to get as debt-free as possible. And I think, if you have multiple debts on multiple things, like a lot of people will have, they'll be in debt for a house, they'll be in debt for their 2 cars, they'll be in debt for bass boat, side by side, they'll be in debt for pretty much everything and have utilities and everything, and never get anything actually paid off. They just pay the minimum payments because that's all they can actually afford, because they've maxed themselves out. They've looked at how much money they bring in and maxed it out in payments, and they can hardly make ends meet month to month, and if something happens, they lose everything. That is a very stressful situation to be in. So try not to go in debt in the first place. If you don't need it, like that bass boat, that side-by-side, that four-wheeler, whatever, and you want it, it looks pretty, it looks fun, but if you don't need it, don't go in debt for that. Put that money towards your house. Put that money towards your paying off your mortgage. Sacrifice. If you have, these TV packages that something costs, over $100 a month. I'm sure some of you all is paying maybe $150 a month for just TV service, being bombarded with advertisements and all the woke propaganda through the television, and you're actually paying for that. You could cut that out and not pay for that, get something like a Roku or something like that, and you can get a lot of free TV just through that, and not have to pay anything besides, your internet cost. You can cut that out and take that $150, whatever you pay every month, and pay it on your property. Take all the money you pay going out to dinner, going to fast food restaurants and things like that, pay it on your property. Sacrifice. If you don't need it, don't get it. Live frugal, and everything you save, put it on that property, put it on those payments. Don't just pay that minimum payment. Pay as much as you can, as often as you can, as quickly as you can, to pay that property off. That way you have that property and you actually own that property. Now, I know people are going to come in the comments and say, well, you get to pay taxes still yet because they will come and take it. That is true. It can happen. However, I know some people who are behind on their taxes 6 years, haven't paid taxes in 6 years. So it's really not an instant thing that actually happens instantly. They want that tax dollars. They don't really want your property, want that tax dollars. So I like to have things like silver, for example, put back in case the dollar collapses. I can still have that silver to convert that over to whatever currency is being used, and then pay that property tax to the county. Property taxes aren't paid to the federal government, it's paid to your county government. And if you have, silver put back, gold and things like that, and even cryptocurrency, you can convert that into whatever currency is being used if our currency does collapse, and you can take and pay your taxes. Anyway, it gets very complicated, and I don't claim to know everything about finance. I'm not a financial advisor. However, I do know that it can be done for a lot of people, even though you think that it can't. You just have to sacrifice. You have to do without, wear your clothes until they wear out. This is an old shirt. I've had this shirt since I started making YouTube videos on YouTube, so about 5 years I've worn this t-shirt. I've had this 3 or 4 years. I've had the boots I have on right now, these Herman Survivor boots I bought at Walmart for $50-something, I think that it was. And I've had these for about 4 winters now. I make do. I take care of things, and you can do the same thing and take that money you save and put it on your mortgage. But try to get as debt-free as you possibly can. And the number one thing should be paying off, your home, and putting back some silver and maybe some gold to be able to pay, that property tax, so you don't lose your property to, the county and to foreclosure because of unpaid property taxes. Anyway, give me your thoughts in the comments below. Some of you probably know more about this than I do. I just know what I did. I know I sacrificed. I put every dime I could possibly put in to paying my property off because I hate being in debt. But I'm sure, some of you all know way more about finances and things than I do. I just know about sacrificing and paying everything I can on what I think is important to get out of debt, and that's exactly what I did. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching. In the Creekmore Matter, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.